Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Monday, the 25th of January. And in our maths lesson today, we are going to be able to find percentages of amounts. So we started this on Friday last week, and we're just going to have another lesson on it, just so we're secure. So our learning outcome today is to find percentages of amounts. And we're going to get our brains warmed up by looking at that question on the screen. What does percent mean? Okay, so I want you to just pause this video here a moment, jot down what you think percent means, and then come back to when you are ready. Okay, so your answer to what does percent mean will go link with this next question here. How else can 100% be shown? So you should have got that percent means out of 100. Just make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, so that's what you should have said for what percent means out of 100. And then how else can 100% be shown? So we looked at this last week. So we have got 100% can also be shown as saying everything, 100 out of 100, all, and then the whole. Okay, so let's move on to these questions for today then. So our word wall, we are going to be looking at these fractions of these percentages today, 50%, 25%, 10%, and 1%. So remembering, so this is our recap from Friday. 50% is equivalent to a half. So to find 50% of an amount, we divide by 2. 25% is equivalent to a quarter. To find 25% of an amount, we divide by 4. 10% is equivalent to 1/10. To find 10% of an amount, we divide by 10. And then 1% is equivalent to 1/100th. And to find 1% of an amount, we divide by 100. So I'm going to do one each of these, and then you are going to pause the video and have a go at the other questions that are underneath. So I have got 50% of 300. So I am doing 300 divided by, 2. Okay, now I know that 30 divided by 2 is 15, and then because I'm making it 100 times bigger, my answer would be 150. Also, halves and doubles are just one of those things that you just need to know. So for example, straight away, half of 300, 50% of 300 is 150. So remember, when you are finding 50%, you divide by 2. You can use short division if you are not confident with your halves, that's absolutely fine. Moving on to 25% then. So when we do 25%, we divide by, as it says up here, we divide by 4. So we are doing 300 divided by 4. Okay, so I am going to do my short division. So here we go with my 300. And then I'm going to draw my bus stop method just around that 300. Oops. You will do this a lot easier than me. Okay, and we are dividing by 4 because we are finding 25%. How many times does 4 go into 3? Well, we know that that is 0. We can't forget about that 3 though, so how many 4s go into 30? So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. 32 is too much. So how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have got a remainder 2. So let's just put that in above the 0, which would make it 20. How many 4s go into 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our answer is 75. So 25% of 300 is 75. Okay, then moving on to 10% then. So when we find 10%, we divide the amount by 10. Now remember, if you are dividing by 10, there we go, oops, let's try that again. When we are dividing by 10, if the amount that you are dividing by 10 ends in a 0, then you can get cross that 0 out, because as we can show here, you've got a 0 on 300 and a 0 on 10, so that will cancel out each other, and that would be your answer. So the answer for 10% of 300 is 30. Now that only works if your amount has got a 0 on the end, okay? So remember, you can cancel out the zeros, that's not a problem. And then finally, to find 1%, we divide by 100. Now again, it's very similar to our dividing by 10. If your number has got zeros on the end, we can cancel out those zeros. So we have, if we divide by 100, we are getting rid of those 2 zeros. We're cancelling those 2 zeros out like that. So my answer would be 3. Okay, then I want you to pause this video here for me, please, and I want you to have a go at these 2, 4, 6, these 8 questions here. Okay then, so you should have got these answers here. Now you have got some decimal points in there, that's absolutely fine. Don't think that you can't have a decimal point, that is absolutely fine. Okay then, so your work today is you are going to be continuing with percentages of amounts, but we are just looking at 50%, 25%, 10%, and 1%, okay? So always come back to this bit here to remind you what you need to divide by. So if we just go on to your questions, which are here, so bronze, you have got questions and then the answers are just at the bottom. Please make sure you self-assess your work before sending it in to your teachers, so we can see how you are getting on and if we need to send you any extra resources or prompts. So we've got bronze, we've got silver, and then we have got gold as well. Okay, so you can pause this video here and then come back when you are ready to do problem solving and reasoning. Okay then, so problem solving and reasoning today, we have got a question here and it says, Zach says, to find 10% you divide by 10. So to find 25% you divide by 25. Do you agree and explain why? Well, we know from our work from today and on Friday that if we find 25%, we divide by 4. So Zach cannot be correct. So, do you agree? No. 25% equals 1/4. So to find 25% of an amount, you need to divide by 4. Nice and simple answer there. Hasn't asked you to do any working out, it's just asked you whether you agree or not and then to explain why. Okay then, so let's have a go at this one. Now, here we've got balancing number sentences. So we've got to work out one side and then work out what we need to do to the other side to make the answer correct. So 50% of 40, so half of 40 I know is 20. So my answer to this equation must also be 20. So it's asking for a percentage of 80. Now, I need to think about what percentage, knowing that today that we are just looking at 50%, 25%, 10%, and 1%. I need to know what. So if I do 50% of 80, the answer is 40, so that can't be the same. 25% of 80, so if I divide by 4, I can already see straight away that if I divide 8 by 4, my answer would be 2, times it by 10, it would be 20. So So my percentage is 25% because 25% of 80 equals 20, that same number. Okay, so let's have a look at this one here. So 1% of 400. So when we find 1%, we divide by 100. So my answer is 4. So I need to find what percent of 40 to give me the answer of 4. So look at the 4 percentages that it could be out of. I know straight away it's going to be 10% because I can see that link with my 0 on my 10 and my 0 on 40. If I cancel those out, it would give me an answer of 4. So that would be 10%. And then last one, I've got 10% of 500. So if I cancel out those zeros from 500 and 10, I get the answer of 50. So I now need to think of what percentage of 100 will give me the same answer of 50. Oh, well, I straight away know that half of 100 is 50. So my percentage is going to be 50%. Okay, so always use your knowledge, what we are only going to be using these 4 fractions, these 4 decimals. Oh my goodness me, Monday morning, these 4 percentages today. Okay, so always think back, divide by 2, divide by 4, divide by 10, divide by 100. Okay then, so your work today, your problem solving and reasoning work, they are all split into bronze questions, silver questions and gold questions. Okay, they are all on the website for you. Please self-assess your answers as well. You've got the answers there as well. Self-assess and then send your work to your teachers. We look forward to seeing your work. Bye.